This podcast is intended for adults 18 years and older. It contains explicit language and sexual situations. All thoughts and opinions expressed are of our own and not of those of any specific group, employer, or individual, and is not intended to take as professional advice.
Welcome to the 4OURPLAY podcast. Join the journey, experiences, and sexual adventures of two high school sweethearts navigating their way through the swinging lifestyle as millennials. Come along for the ride. Let's play.
Hey guys, I wanted to jump in here really quick. You were going to hear this at the beginning of episode 2 and episode 3. We're just making a little addendum to the podcast. We got several things of feedback saying that we said the word like way too much. We got that information right after we filmed the third podcast. We went back, we refilmed the first episode because we listened to it and it was unlistenable to us because we said like so much. I don't know if that's where we were raised or just our age. We used like a lot, but we've realized that that's something we need to do way less in podcasts and also way less in real life. I think it made it even worse that it was our first time ever recording a podcast because we were both just so nervous and talking fast and just trying to get our message across. So that's why we re-recorded that one. But in this episode 2 and 3, we really loved the rawness of the stories and we loved just how they came out. And we didn't want to ruin that by re-recording those stories and them not being quite as good. So I promise the stories are way worth it. They're so fun to listen to. And you will hear us say like a little bit more in this episode. And we apologize for that. Once you get to episode 4 and beyond, we say like way less. And it's getting better and better every time. So thank you for the people that told us that feedback. And we really hope you guys enjoy this podcast. So we'll jump back into it.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the 4OURPLAY podcast. This is Bella.
This is Jace.
And today's story is going to be the first time we ever had a threesome.
Yeah, and this was our second lifestyle experience.
Yes, our second lifestyle experience ever.
Mm-hmm. So I guess let's start by painting a scene. We were still living in Oklahoma at this point. Mm-hmm. And we must have been how old? 22, 23?
No, I don't think we're 23 yet.
I think we were 22. So we had done the stuff. If you listened to our last podcast with a couple in Vegas, and so we were kind of curious to what was out there. We didn't really know about any of like the big websites, but we had heard of Adult Friend Finder.
Yeah, is that even still around?
I'm sure it is.
Should we get on there? Like, should we? I mean, we had good luck the first time we used it. We never used it again.
But yeah, so we were living in Oklahoma City at the time, and we got on Adult Friend Finder. And I remember we'd been trying to talk to some couples, and then there was a single girl that had messaged us or something.
I don't even think we were trying to find a single girl.
I don't think so.
Right?
I think we were
trying to find couples. She just happened to fall in our lap.
Yeah, and I think it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and we were like, oh, we should meet up. And I've always said this. We haven't had like a ton of threesomes, but I feel like with threesomes, sometimes they fall off when they're planned. So I feel like whenever we have like the opportunity to have like a threesome, like we find a girl like at a website, I feel like we more often try to like plan it sooner than later. Do you think
honestly,
that's like...
I mean, I feel like that goes for everything. Like, I mean, I feel like whenever we plan things like further out, which sometimes we just have to do with our schedule.
But like with a couple, like they're going to be together most likely. But like a girl, she might find a boyfriend or she might change her mind and be like, oh, I don't know about this. So I feel like a lot of the time, like we had more success when we set up something quicker with a single girl than when we waited for a long time.
I can see that.
I wanted to clarify what I was saying here after listening back to this. So what I meant to say was, I feel like a lot of time, like single girls want to get into this, and then if they have a long time to think about it, sometimes you get in your own head about things, and when you get in your own head, you kind of stop and like, oh, is this really what I want? And you get nervous, and then you don't go through with experiencing something you really want to experience. And that's kind of where I was going with this thought, is like, if they have too much time to think, I think sometimes they get in their own head. And same with like couples too, like you get in your own head about something. And if you get in your head too much and you have too long to think about it, sometimes you don't take the jump of something you really want to do in your life. You're like, oh, we should meet this weekend. And she said, cool, or whatever.
Yeah.
So then...
it's funny because like I feel like we didn't exactly know what to do. Okay, mind you, we've never been on a date like other than with each other. And we've been together since we were 15. So we didn't know what to do. I was like, should we go to Cheesecake Factory?
And Cheesecake Factory is like one of our favorite restaurants.
At least it was back then.
Yeah, also, before the last lifestyle experience, we went to Cheesecake Factory in Vegas.
You're right.
So if we want stuff to happen, we should just go to Cheesecake Factory for the day. We should meet at Cheesecake Factory. It works. So we were like, let's go to Cheesecake Factory. And this girl, like, we knew she lived pretty close to us, and the Cheesecake Factory was also pretty close to us.
Yeah, like within like less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was close. So we ended up meeting, and I think we were there early because you'll hear us say it a billion times, but we do not like being late.
Yeah, just like punctual.
So we are always like try to be very punctual, like unless there's emergency. So we were early, and she ended up showing up, I think, on time. Mm-hmm. This was like 6 years ago, so some of the details could be a little fuzzy, but she showed up, and I remember like we talked for almost like an hour, right? Yeah. But not about anything lifestyle, really, like nothing. Literally just about.
It was like we were taking her on a date. Like that's what it felt like. I remember like talking before she got there and was like, how do we go about this? Like, do we just talk about like her friends? Like, are we taking her on a date? Do we pay? Like, what do we do?
Do you know what I also remember was I had just gotten contacts at this point, and I didn't know how to put them in my eye.
I remember that.
And I spent like 45 minutes trying to put my contacts in.
Did you ever get them in?
No, I got one in.
I remember we kind of got in a fight about it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why do you need to put them in? I was like, do you want my help? I don't know what to do. And you were like, I just want to wear them.
I know. I think that like I was nervous probably like going into it. So I feel like tensions were high. I also remember that I haven't like clean shaved in years now, but at that point like I had no facial hair, and like I shaved like every day. And so like I just was like quickly shaving, and like I didn't use shaving cream or something, and so I had like 2 cuts on my face. And that was the first time I'd ever got a cut from shaving ever, because I think I was just like so like trying to rush it after the whole contact thing.
Oh my goodness.
But I think that we were both like, okay, let's just like forget about it, move on, and like so that was also happening.
Oh yeah, I do remember the contacts thing. I remember getting in like I was like, why do you have to do this now?
I know. But if any of you people out there are glasses wearers and you are blind, you have to know the struggle of having sex with glasses on. Because you get close and you touch and you kiss and you get huge smudges on your glasses.
Was that what you were thinking of like at the time? That's not what you were thinking of at the time, though. I don't think that you were like.
I could have been. I don't know.
I think you just like wanted to try. Anyways.
But so that's
you didn't have enough experience to know.
Well, we had sex for a lot of times at that point. And like I didn't like having sex with glasses on as much. But anyway, so we got to Cheesecake Factory. We talked for an hour. So are we going to talk about the really weird thing that happened at dinner?
Oh, I don't remember what that was. So go ahead and say it.
So this is before we started talking about anything sexual. So we had both figured out that we are from the same hometown.
This was at dinner?
At dinner, yeah.
Okay.
We both figured out we were from the same hometown. And we were like, oh, okay, well, what high school did you go to? Because this girl, we didn't know her age, but she had to be around
our age,
maybe a year or 2 older than us, I think.
Like less than 5 for sure.
Yeah, she was probably like 25, and we were like 22. I would say, yeah. So we were like, oh, what district did you go to? And we went to the same school. We were from the same city, went to the same school district. Yeah. And we were like, that is so weird. And then, so we were like, so our elementary schools, I was like, what elementary school did you go to? Don't tell me the full name of it, but just the letter that it starts with. Like, what would be the chances that, what would be the chances that, we happen to go to the same elementary school? And she said the letter that the elementary school started with. And turns out there's only one in the district that starts with that letter.
And Jason and I met in elementary school.
Yes.
So we must have known her when we met.
We'd have to have mutual friends.
We have to.
For sure. Also, she told us where she lived, and she lived in the same neighborhood that you lived in. Just like you guys.
Oh, like in my growing up neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
So she must have lived you and her must have grown up, well, like, since you were, like, 12 or whatever, like 4 minutes apart from each other.
Yeah,
which
that was
is
weird.
just, like,
that
absolutely
was weird. I forgot about that. I thought we didn't figure
mind-blowing
that
to me.
out until after.
No, it
the
was during.
experience.
No, it was during
Oh
dinner.
yeah, okay.
No, yeah, it was. That was. So anyway, so I remember.
Small freaking world.
Small world. So I remember. I was like, I need to use the restroom towards the end of the date, and then I guess that. Do you remember what you said to her? Because when I came back, you guys were talking about like sexual things. Like it had
Really?
gone from like. I guess you don't remember.
No, so long ago. I wish we would have started this podcast like as we like started doing stuff.
I know. So we're like all
really
catching
don't
up. So
remember.
most of these stories are going to be like you hearing it and Diamond hearing it for the second time because she doesn't remember.
Yeah, I remember.
anything.
I remember some things. You just have a way better memory than me. So once you like say it, I'm like, oh, maybe it'll jog my memory. But I don't remember what you were talking about.
Well, before we were just talking about normal things like where we went to elementary school and dinner and things like that. But when I got back, it was like a very like sexual conversation. And so I don't know. I was going to ask.
What was the conversation?
I don't know. We were just talking about like what she had done with like couples before or like stuff like
I probably
that.
was just like, so.
See,
What do you like?
You know what the funny thing is? Like I've never actually heard that part of the story, and I was like, oh, I'm going to learn today. Like what was said when I was gone. Still, we have no clue.
No, I have no idea. I was probably just like, so, like, how'd you get on the website? Have you had any experience? Like typical lifestyle talk.
So within 5 minutes of me being back, we had got our bill, and we just paid separately, which I don't know like what the
Did
rule.
we pay separately?
Yeah, we paid separately. I don't know what the rule is on that. Like if you take a single
We
bill to dinner,
definitely should have paid for her.
yeah,
I don't even think we got drinks.
I don't think
Like
so
I think
either.
we only got food.
Yeah, I think we got food, but we had drinks at home. And you were like, so do you want to come back to our place? And she was like, yeah. So then I remember it was even more weird because we walked out to our car and we were parked like next to each other and we drove the same exact car. Which I thought was
the same car.
Yeah.
I remember she parked next to us.
Yeah, the same car, which I also thought was just really
That is
bizarre.
how do you remember all of this? Oh my gosh, I do remember that now. Okay.
So,
you have a really good memory.
so anyway, we drove back. Turns
was
out,
super close.
yeah, she also lived like 3 minutes from us.
Yeah.
Like which
really,
also
really, really
weird. So
close.
like she grew up 3 minutes from you.
Yeah.
And then we moved 2 hours away and still somehow lived 3 minutes away from each other. Bizarre.
And went to elementary school together, and this is so weird.
It is
Okay,
so
anyway.
weird. But anyway, so we got back to our place, and I remember. I guess it could be.
We should give her
more-
a name.
Okay, let's call her Anna.
Anna? Okay.
I have no clue why Anna.
Anna.
Anyway, so
Okay.
Anna, and we can describe Anna. Anna, she was like.
She's around my height, right? Like 5'2",
5'2", 5'3".
She had long
black
dark
hair, like
hair,
black,
yeah,
brown. It was
brunette.
dark hair,
It
yeah.
was like wavy. She was cute.
She was cute.
white girl.
Yeah, that pretty much that pretty much was Anna. She's a little bit like thicker, I would say, like a more curvy
Yeah.
type body shape. If that helps.
Thicker than a Snicker.
Yeah, if that helps describes Anna. So we got back to our place and we were like, so this was in college. Like we didn't spend money on things because we had
That's probably
no
why we didn't
money.
pay. We were so naive. I
Yeah,
don't
and
even know.
like we really were like we didn't have very
We were
much money in
so
college because we were
frugal.
paying for our own college off of student loans. We were paying for our own housing, our own everything. Like we didn't have like help there, so we really didn't have much money. Like we were living
Where
on
are you going with
loans.
this?
So that's why we didn't like buy drinks and stuff while we were out.
Oh.
So we had like alcohol at home. So we were like, oh, do you want to have a drink? So we started like drinking and like we did not know how to move this forward. Like now we have a really fun game that we play that like really helps.
Yeah, we're pros now.
Which is so fun.
Actually, we haven't had like just a single girl over in like a really long time, so I don't even know.
I know. Hopefully soon.
It's like I know how to do. I feel like we're really good with the couples, but like I'm kind of nervous.
I don't know, but at that
Anyways,
orgy there was a single girl.
Well, yeah, that's kind of.
We moved that around real quickly.
Yeah, that was really good.
But so so we were drinking and we started like taking some shots, having fun. And
I remember her talking about like. Do you remember when we were talking about like cruises and stuff?
I don't remember that.
You don't. Well, remember
Do you?
yeah, because she was telling us how she got stuck on that one cruise ship.
I have no recollection.
What?
Of
You
that.
know, okay, yeah. Well, this has nothing to do with.
I'm just excited to remember something in the story that I don't know what it is.
She was telling us how she got stuck on that one. Like, she went with her friend and she got stuck on that cruise ship that got, like, the sewage messed up. And they got stuck out in the middle of the ocean.
No
for, like, days. You really? You don't remember that? Because every time I get on a cruise ship, I think of her because of that story.
That's great. No recollection of that.
So, yeah. But yeah, that has nothing to do with it.
nothing to do with the story. So they started drinking, and we really didn't know how to, like, move things along. So, I remember, so we have, like, a lot of porn downloaded, like, on an external drive. I don't know, it's a weird thing for people to do, but, like, that's what we have. And, like, we don't like, me and Bella both enjoy porn that's more, like, artistically filmed and, like, pretty and, like...
I don't even know if, like XArt, Passion HD,
like Joy
Vixen,
Me,
like those kinds of...
Yeah, they're,
not
like,
as much, like...
scenic locations, things like that. So...
Yeah.
We didn't know how to start anything. So then you're like, hey, we want to show you this porn. Do you remember that?
I did not remember until just this second.
Yeah, so we had our TV, we stuck our external drive into the TV, and we started, like, playing this porn.
Was it a threesome?
I don't remember what it was. I just remember we played one. And then I was like, how's this shit start? And then we started watching that. And then I think she made the first move.
I think she did too.
I think she, like, kissed you.
I think we were just, like, sitting on our bed and then, yeah. Like,
no, we were on the couch.
No, we were on the couch? Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
On that tiny TV in the living room?
Yep. I mean, we probably had binoculars to see it.
I was going to say it.
I mean, it was a big living room, and there was, like, a 32-inch TV,
yeah.
so, like, you probably couldn't have seen.
I thought we were in the bedroom. Okay.
But, no, we weren't yet.
Okay.
So, I remember you guys started kissing, and you guys, like, were kissing, and then you moved it. So, I guess we still have it, but it's, like, an L-shaped couch.
Yeah.
So, it has, like, what's that called? It's like a sectional or
chase?
a chase? That's what that's called?
The long part?
Yeah, the long part.
I think it's called a chase.
A chase. So, you guys were on the chase. And I remember that, like, you had taken all of her clothes off, and then I think that you were naked as well, and you were, like, eating her out. And
the porn was just playing in the background.
Porn was just
Did
playing
you
in the
remember, like,
background.
just, like, seeing us and then, like, seeing the porn in the back?
I was not watching the porn.
You're watching the real life porn.
Yes. And so you guys were just, like, you know, making out, kissing. You went down on her for a little while. And then, like, I was at that point, I was like, oh my God, boobs. Like, haven't seen very many boobs before. I'm just, it's so funny to think back about it. And
I think because the first couple that we did stuff with, I don't think that she liked getting eaten out very much.
She didn't really like girl on girl
Yeah,
stuff.
she didn't like much girl stuff. So I think this was the first time that I did, like, a lot of girl stuff.
This podcast is brought to you by us, Bella and Jace. Have you guys ever been to a party or just looking to spice the night up? We have the ultimate adult party game. It's called 4OURPLAY the Game. It's an adult icebreaker game that really always just makes for a fun time. If you want more information about it, you can check it out at 4OURPLAY.com/games.
If you're newer into the lifestyle and you're wanting to learn more about it, we do have an introduction to swinging course that you can find more information at 4OURPLAY.com/learn. It has all the information that we wish we would have known before we first got into the lifestyle. We also have swinger and lifestyle clothing, and you can find that at 4OURPLAY.com/shop. Back to the show.
And so then I remember you guys came over and you guys started, like, going down on me together. And that was, like, one of the first times, I guess it was the second time that it ever happened. And so that was really fun. And then I clearly remember you were like, oh, I have to go pee. So, Anna, you just, like, take care of him. Or you said something like that. And so she was going down on me when you went to use the bathroom. And I was like, oh, this is, like, really interesting for me because it's like, it was
You were,
almost
like,
like I
by
was
yourself,
just with,
kinda?
like, I was, like, having sex. Well, I wasn't having sex, but I was getting a blowjob with, like, someone, like, by myself, which, like, felt really weird to me.
Did you feel like... Did it, like, not like you were cheating, but did it feel weird because I wasn't there?
It felt weird because you weren't there, and, like, you hadn't really, like, we hadn't really talked about it. Like, I never thought about
Like,
the
it just
option of,
kinda
like, someone had to go pee, but like, I always just imagine us all being together all the time. So, like, it was just
Yeah.
more weird for me. Like, it wasn't like, but then at the same time, I was like, well, you told her to do that, so, like, you must be okay with it.
Oh, you weren't
wouldn't
sure if I was okay
Yeah,
with
but
it.
like you had like left. So I was like, okay, well, she must be okay with it. But like, I just wasn't ready for that. I will say, to this day, can I say that that was probably my least favorite head I've ever received?
Really?
It was very teethy.
Worse than the first one?
What do you mean the first one?
Than the couple? Because I thought you said she was bad too.
But this was worth, because it was like almost like she bit it a little bit.
Oh.
So still to this day, probably the worst.
Oh no!
I've ever received.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But everyone has their skills. She was good at other things, but that just like that. So that was that.
You just remember that.
So I remember after that we went to the bedroom, and then I remember like we were all kind of like kissing. Still don't really know how to get things started, and then I remember she was like, "I need to use the restroom," so she went to the restroom, and then me and you started like fucking when she was in the bathroom, because we were like, okay, I guess this will get things started. I think I was like doing you doggy, and then she came in and was like, oh, that's fun, or you know, something like that. And then
Didn't she just watch for a little bit? Didn't she say she was like she just like wanted to watch something? Why do I remember that? I feel like I remember that. But it wasn't very long.
Yeah, I think she watched for a little bit, and then she came and I think was like kissing you and like making out with you. And then I think that she kind of like, so I was doing you doggy, and I think that she kind of like faced her ass towards me too and like got in like that position, like a doggy position as well. And I think that I was like fingering her while I was having sex with you. And then I remember like, I think that you asked her like, oh, can he fuck you or something? Classic you. Yeah. I've been doing that since day one. Really just a wing woman all the time. I'll say that a billion times. And she was like, yeah. And so then I remember fucking her from behind, like doggy. Then I think I was fingering you. Like I think I did the same thing, but just switched between the two of you. I remember that happening. And so I wish you would have filmed these a long time ago, because like I'm really like pulling from my memories. I remember 4 major things from this foursome. I remember that. The next thing I remember was like laying on my back up against like the back of the bed. So like my head was against the headboard with like a pillow there. And like you were on my right side and she was on my left side. And you guys were both like kind of like giving me a hand job, but I was like going back and forth and kissing both of you. I remember that very clearly, and kind of just like touching both of you, which was like super hard. I don't think we've ever actually been done that again. Which is a really fun position, but it's like almost like a threesome position.
What do you mean almost a threesome?
Like you can like do it, like it would be hard on like a foursome to like do that, but you'd almost need only 3 people.
Yeah, because
I feel like more of our lifestyle experiences have been like group settings. So but I remember doing that, and then literally the next thing I remember doing, which I'm sure there was more, is I remember like coming. Do you have any other details that I am forgetting about?
The only thing that I remember, I clearly remember you coming on us. But I don't remember any of the stuff in between. I mean, I feel like we kissed.
I think I fucked her missionary.
Probably.
I'm really giving you guys great details here.
I know, it's hard to say. I don't remember.
As these podcasts go on, because we're going back and we're filming every podcast from the beginning up until current day, so the stories will get better and better as we move forward. So I have to apologize, because this was 6 years ago. Yeah. And we've like fucked a few people in between then. Just to go for. So I guess I'll tell you the next thing I remember, since you know more details, which seems to be a reoccurring theme as well.
I just don't remember like the positions. Yeah.
Well, me either. I think I fucked her missionary, and that's literally all I can give you. The next thing I remember is we had watched a porn though, and in the porn they had like double not that night. It was a different night. They had like double titty fucked this guy. So it's like, if you've never seen anyone do that in porn, listeners, it's whenever like 2 girls like stick their boobs together and like you almost titty fuck them, but in between 2 sets of boobs. I really wanted to do that. Okay. And so you asked her, and like, I'm not gonna lie, her boobs are not big enough to like actually do this properly. Like yours are, but hers were not. So I remember trying to do that.
We were on the floor. Like I remember, like we moved to the floor and you were standing, right? Or was this different?
I was sitting on the edge of the bed.
Oh,
So this was
okay.
before I stood. You guys did that together before I stood.
Yeah.
And that didn't really work, but I was like, well, at least we did it. Cool. And then I remember you guys like going back
We've also
and forth.
tried to do that multiple times, and it still hasn't worked.
I feel like a large majority of the people we have had sex with have not had big boobs.
Yeah, there's like.
And I feel like that's more of a threesome position.
It doesn't have to be in a threesome. It just.
I feel like that is more of like an easier to come by in a threesome position. Because like, what's another guy doing? Like, what?
Well, he watches and then he gets to do it.
That's true.
That's why foursomes. I like foursomes because you get to do like the threesome type things, but then you just get to do them twice.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we tried that. It didn't really work. And then I didn't mention this earlier, but so I was really nervous, right? And I was like, I don't want to come too fast. So I had like masturbated like an hour before we went to dinner.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
That is way too soon for my personal body to respond and like really be able to like, I mean, I didn't come very fast, but like now I'm like, okay, like I don't like to come if like we know we're going to meet a couple or something. We'll usually either have sex like the night before or like the morning of, like, but I don't like having like coming like an hour before because it's just like harder for me later
to like
and like like I'm more into it because I you know what I'm saying. So like at that point I didn't know that, so it was not easy for me to come at all. But I remember you guys just were going down on me together. And I like came on both of your faces, not very much, also because I had come an hour and a half before that.
That's okay.
But I came on both of you, and
appreciated that.
That was like really hot to me though, because that was like everything we'd watched in porn. I was like, I've always wanted to like do that to two girls. Like, what a fantasy, right? So I remember coming, and then I remember she was like, "Well, you haven't come yet," and she really wanted to go down on you. Do you remember that? Mm-mm. Well, I was going to ask you a follow-up question. She went down on you for like 5 minutes, right? And like I'm doing air quotes here. I don't know. I was going to ask that.
Oh, I definitely faked it because it's very difficult for me to
because I figured you faked it, but like I had no clue. I've never even asked you. I always forgot to ask you that like 6 years I've been like, I wonder if she faked that orgasm because I bet she did.
Why did I not? Well, this is probably because I faked it because I was like, I don't remember her doing that.
Well,
so this was after you already came?
Yeah.
Okay.
She like went down you for like 5 minutes and then like you air quotes came. And then
did I do the same thing to her?
I don't think so. I think that was kind of like that's all she wrote. Like I feel like that's
all she wrote.
Like that's it. Like the end of the story. You never heard that term before? Also, you will find out through podcasts. Bella has absolutely. I don't know if it's because Vietnamese is your first language and like your parents didn't say like.
I don't know a lot of like
sayings,
expressions.
Like expressions.
Like
you know,
I don't understand.
You know, like things like the pot calling the kettle black, like just random things like that.
What? The pot calling the kettle black? What does that mean?
That's like whenever you tell somebody like basically like it's like being hypocritical. Like it's like, oh, you do that? Oh. It's like it's like what's an example? It's like if you had like cheated on your spouse, but then you like gave someone a hard time about them like cheating on their boyfriend. Like it's like you're the same thing. You can't make fun of somebody for that.
Yeah, see, I don't know these like normal. I guess these are normal expressions. So
yeah, so that's the second one that she hasn't known in this last 5 minutes. Actually, last minute. So yeah, that was kind of it, and that kind of really honestly wraps up the story of our first threesome.
I remember we like put our clothes on and then like we kissed her and I was like, can we get you an Uber home? I was like, I can even drive you. She said, no, I literally live like 3 minutes away.
We said you can sleep on our couch.
Oh yeah, I was like, because we had drank.
Yeah, we had drinks, like you can sleep on our couch, like whatever you want. She said, I live 3 minutes away, I'm fine.
And then I remember she left and I was like, I can't believe we just did that.
Me either. And
then we never got on that website again. I don't think we ever talked to her again. I wonder how she's doing. Anna, I hope you're doing well out there.
I hope you happen to hear this podcast.
I bet we'll probably run into her Black Friday.
Probably like at the mall.
Like probably like I know.
In our hometown, just at the mall.
Just like hanging out.
I don't even know if I'd recognize her though. It's been so long. But I truly apologize that we can't give you more details. I wish I could give myself more details. Like,
I thought that was pretty, I mean...
For 6 years ago and how many experiences we've had in between, I feel like that's a decent amount of...
It's funny how we can, like, remember more so, like, the stuff, like, that happened before it. And, like, that happened, like leading up to it and then, like, right after. But it's just, like, the doing it part that just kind of meshes together.
Yeah, and I feel like that, always kind of happens.
Yeah, it does always
Any
happen.
lifestyle experience, I feel like...
You kind of do, like, the same kind of thing.
Yeah, and you're moving around so much, I feel like I'm looking at you or looking at her or, like, looking at, you know, whatever's going on. I feel like
so unless we film it, like, literally, like, the next day or something, which is what we're doing now, so...
Yes, like, currently, anytime we have an experience, we are filming just...
Or recording.
Recording just the talking part of it, and then we're going to do, like, the intro and outro later.
Yeah, so then it's, like, really fresh on our minds, and we really remember everything. It's, like, a fresh diary entry. Right now, it's, like, a diary entry from, like, 6 years ago. It's hard to, like, remember everything.
And, like, the reason we remember all of our experiences is that we do have a book, like, almost like a moleskin journal that we wrote down, like, the dates, or not dates exactly, but, like
the year and, like, the month that something happened and, like, who it was with and, like, in general, like, what we did.
So, like, for this, for example, we had, like, adult friend finder, Anna's name, threesome. And then
I think we even had, like, Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, and then, like, when it was. So that was, like, that's, like, pretty much how we're going back to, like...
Oh, my God. We have, like, it's literally a little black book. Isn't that what people call that? Don't they, like, write, like,
I don't know. Is that a saying? Is that an expression? I don't know. I know the black dress.
No, I think that... Don't people have little black books and they put, like, their body count in it? Like, things, like... Right?
I don't know.
Did I make this up?
Do you guys do that? So let us know down below. Do all of you listeners, do you have, like, a way of remembering? Do you know how many people you've slept with? Do you have, like, a tally of, like, who you've done stuff with? Like, at least since you've been in the lifestyle? Or is it just...
A little black book is an address book, especially one in which the details of one's lovers are recorded.
Oh, I didn't know that. I guess so.
We have one of those. But it's not because it's not for, like, what's the word? It's not for the trophy of it. It's just
to remember what we've done.
It's literally like a diary.
It's like pictures, because we take pictures or videos of our life all the time, but not of, like, sexual things like that. So, like, I want to be able to, like, recall what we've done.
Yeah.
But leave a comment down below, or, like, you can leave a comment down below, can't you?
Can you? I don't know.
You can't leave a comment. That's kind of YouTubey. Yeah. So why don't you guys, like, send us an email, like, let us know, like, do you guys keep track of that kind of stuff? Because I'm curious to, like...
I'm curious too. Like, how do you guys keep track of it? I would be sad if, like, we didn't keep track of it, because, like, then I wouldn't remember all of our experiences. All of our experiences, every time that we have an experience, we're so much closer afterwards. It's not just like a one night stand. I mean, I guess technically this one was like a one night stand fling thing, but, like, for us, that's not how it was.
Yeah, like, we did that, but, like, we brought us closer together.
Yeah,
so it was like most things are like one night stand.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know, because I've never actually had just, like, a one night stand by myself, so I don't know.
But also, will you guys let us know if you're going to email us?
BellaandJace@gmail.com.
Yes, BellaandJace@gmail.com. I'm also curious about the thing I said about if you have had experiences with single women. Have you had better luck trying to set it up faster? Because I know, for example, like, there was a single girl we were talking to. We set up a date. Her family ended up getting sick. Like, we set up a date for that next weekend. Her family ended up getting sick. And then we messaged her, like, one more time. And then it just kind of, like, fell off. And there's been, like, a couple times, like, when we've talked to single girls that, like, they wanted to do stuff. And we pushed it to, like, a later date. And then it just never ended up happening. So, like, do you feel like that's, like, a true statement? Or is that just, like, us making that
our luck? I don't know.
We used to do this a long time ago with each other. Like, at the end of the week, we kind of recap our week, and we would talk about, like, our favorite music and our favorite thing, like, throughout that week.
Like our weekly obsession.
Yeah, and also, if you guys listen to the Room 77 podcast, that's, like, one of our favorite lifestyle podcasts. They actually end their podcast that way. And so we're not trying to steal anything from Richard Lauren. Like, we used to just love to do this. And it's just something fun to kind of, like, end it, like, on, like, not necessarily a sexual note, since this whole thing is sexual.
It could be sexual if it was something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be something sexual. But it's not for me this week. My things are not sexual this week. But why don't you start off? Tell us your favorite music this week and your favorite thing. There's like a thing you're obsessed with.
My favorite music this week is Everglow. They are a K-pop group, and they have a new album out, and their new song, La Di Da, is my favorite song right now.
I bet I can guess your favorite thing.
What?
Harry Potter.
Oh, I was going to say sugar-free gummy bears, but I did love Harry Potter this week.
We watched all 8 Harry Potters this week.
We did. I slept through just a couple of them because I was feeling under the weather.
If you guys haven't looked up, that time count for the 8 Harry Potters is 19 hours and 32 minutes if you watch them straight through.
3 days, though.
That's a lot of Harry Potter. So that's why I thought it'd be yours.
That's a good one, though.
So my music choice is there's this kid. He's kind of famous from TikTok, or more popular because of TikTok. His name is Dempsey Hope. His song called Roller Rink, and I'm literally like obsessed with that song this week. A good one. And then, who's texting me in the middle of a podcast?
Your friends.
Is it?
Oh. It's like, is it a date?
Is it Victoria's Secret offering me a sale, or is it Hobby Lobby telling me to have a coupon?
Joanne's.
My favorite thing this week is football has been back for a few weeks now. I'm not like a huge sports person, but I love watching the Green Bay Packers play football. That's like the one sport thing that like I watch. I watch it like religiously. And they have won every game this season. They're 4-0, and so that's like my weekly obsession. Is I'm going to say that Green Bay is killing it football wise. So that's kind of fun. But I really feel like that's it.
But yeah, that's it for our second experience.
I hope you guys liked our first threesome. We try to take you there. We don't really remember all of it, but that's what I got. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it.
If you'd like to support the show, you can leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to our podcast. All our information will be listed in the show notes below. You can email us at 4playpodcast@gmail.com. That's the number 4OURPlayPodcast@gmail.com with any questions or comments, or head to 4play.com/ask. We have a digital online game called 4Play the Game. It's the ultimate adult party game for the sexually inclined and perfect for breaking the ice. You can find more information at 4play.com/games. We give away 1 free game of 4Play Plus a month to a listener who writes a review, so just screenshot your review and email it to us for a chance to win. We have swinger and lifestyle clothing and accessories at 4play.com/shop and courses at 4play.com/learn. And we also have a Facebook group called 4Play Community and would love for you to join at facebook.com/group/4playcommunity. We're on Twitter at 4Play Podcast and Instagram at HeyBellaLuna and at HeyJace'S. I have an OnlyFans, which you can find at onlyfans.com/BellaLunaVIP, or my free one at BellaLunaFree. Lastly, we're on Cassidy and SDC at Bella and Jace, and you can get a free 30-day full membership by using our link. Again, all our information will be listed in the show notes below, and we thank you so much for listening to our podcast. See you in the next one. Bye!